as the Broncos take the blue field here at Albertson Stadium. It's the 5th meeting all time between the visiting Washington State Cougars and the Boise State Broncos. Pac-12 matching up against the Mountain West. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore, chopping it up. Quint Kesnick down in the field joining us in just a bit. Rod, this game, this matchup, really a defensive coordinator's nightmare when you look at the ability of the two quarterbacks and all the receivers they have at their service.
Yeah, we've got a couple of quarterbacks, I think, because they're in the Pacific Northwest, they've been tucked away under the radar. Cool hand Luke Falk, 4,500 yards passing last year, 38 TDs, opened with 4 TDs last weekend. Tall, rangy quarterback. He can deliver the football. On the other side, Brett Rypien. Yep, that name sounds familiar. His uncle, Mark Rypien, won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins back in the day. He's opened well last week with a couple touchdown passes and threw for more than 3,300 yards last season as he was the top quarterback in the Mountain West Conference as a true freshman.
Broncos coming off an impressive win last week against ULL. For more, let's go downstairs to Quint.
Both of these quarterbacks have favorite targets. For Washington State, it's all about Gabe Marks. 104 receptions last season, 60 went for first downs. He can run the vertical routes, he runs fades, bubble screens, slants. And meanwhile, for Boise State, Thomas Spurbeck is their most productive receiver. Big numbers last season, 88 catches. He's more of a slot guy, likes to find the soft spots of the zone. Boise Broncos go to him a lot on third down.
All right, Q. Washington State winning the toss, electing to receive. This is a very pivotal and critical home game for the Broncos, albeit early in the season. Tyler Rassa ready to kick off.
This place is kind of jumping a little bit.
And we are underway. Martin taking it out of the end zone. Found a seam and then closes quickly at the 19-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Washington State and their quarterback Luke Falk, who will sling it over and over again. Falk last week had 4 touchdown passes against 1 interception. Was 41 of 51 in that close loss, that 45-42 loss against Eastern Washington. And the big storyline coming into the game, or at least one of them, Rod, is how they bounce back.
Yeah, that was a surprising loss for Washington State. Many people expected them to be undefeated coming in here. A lot of talk about Washington State being a sleeper in the Pac-12 North.
Wicks in the backfield. An early look at this air raid offense of the Cougars. And Falk completes it to Wicks out of the backfield. It's a sweet move and makes it up to the 25-yard line, where he's brought down by Tyler Horton, a gain of 5 on the play. Falk is a 6'4" junior out of Logan, Utah. A guy that, in the words of his own coach last week, played okay, but wasn't as sharp as he could have been. Second and 5. Gets rid of it quickly again. This time it's dropped by Wicks, and it sets up a 3rd and 5.
You know, partner, Falk is an interesting story. He's a guy that early on in high school, people pegged him as a superstar. Ended up being a walk-on at Washington State. Had an offer from Florida State. It got pulled after folks thought there was a little too much drama surrounding him.
Wow. Yeah, he talked about it happening when he was at the Seminoles camp and described the very long flight home from Tallahassee back to Utah.
He had transferred to Oaks Christian Hollywood High School down in Southern California, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, very transient part of the early part of his career. Here he is on 3rd and 5. Showing good poise, completes the pass, and let's check out the mark. Martin makes the catch. It's a gain of 6 and a first down. Rod, he showed some good moxie.
Yeah, you know, he's not a guy that buys a lot of time in terms of scrambling, moving around the pocket, but he did there just enough to allow Martin to pick up that first down. He's much more of a pocket guy.
Got 3 backs in now, Wicks, Morrow, and James Williams. One of the few times you'll see them run the ball into the boundary this time. That's Williams, and a nice gain of about 6, close to 7 yards.
You know, I felt like Washington State kind of gave up on the rushing attack a little bit last week. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran it more this week. They have a little bit of an advantage size-wise up front, as you see Mike Leach there in his 5th season at Washington State.
This team went 9-4 last year, won their bowl game against the Miami Hurricanes. But for the 2nd consecutive season, they stumble out of the gate losing to an FCS team. And a first down run by Gerard Wicks. Out to the 45, picked up 7 yards. Rod, we hear a lot about this air raid, but successful running.
Yeah, you know, and that size differential. Look at 55 inside. He's an undersized nose tackle, about 260 pounds, and they allowed him to use his quickness to get up inside and just trapped him and came around the edge to pick up the first down.
Underneath and open at the 38-yard line. Nice move by Lewis, still open. Got a couple of nice blocks and down to the 26-yard line.
So if you're wondering about Marks, he's getting double short coverage, and there's a safety sitting behind him. You see right now Boise State has opened this game with the notion that anybody but Marks.
Well, he's got some other guys that are capable.
Yeah, and Falk has been using those guys.
2nd and 2. Pass complete again. This time it's Morrow. And Morrow picks up the first down. A gain of 3 on the play. Ben Weaver making the catch.
You mentioned Weaver. One of the things you and I talked about this week was whether the Boise State linebackers could match up against the running backs and the slot receivers of Washington State. I mean, Washington State believes they have an advantage there. And interestingly, Boise State believes those linebackers can cover those guys. Something's got to give on that.
We'll see. Weaver, one of those captains. Handoff is to Robert Lewis. This time he's whacked.
Well, there he is.
Little or no gain. Tanner Vallejo limits that game to 1, and we expect to see him a lot, Rod.
He is their best defensive player. He's incredibly active. He will get into the box. He will rush the quarterback, and they will drop him into coverage.
Ben Valley, California. Vallejo, one of the leaders on defense. 2nd and 9. This is the 11th play of the Cougar drive. Play clock down to 3. Incomplete, batted down at the line of scrimmage by David Moa. And it'll be 3rd and long.
He's actually coming back and throwing into double coverage as he tries to find Johnson over there. Not the decision he wanted, but how about 55 Moa getting his big paw up there, knocking it down. Now you've got a big 3rd down.
The guy you said was undersized a little bit ago showed some bounce.
Yeah,
huh?
well, he's shown some quickness and some hops.
3rd and 9. Falk picked off at the 17. Tyler Horton. And he's got a group of blockers running on the blue to score the touchdown.
To the left of your screen, Horton is the sophomore out of Fresno High School. And it looks like that ball was a bit off target from Falk. Either that or you had Lewis, 15, not find it, but that looked like the only person who saw that ball was Horton.
And 85 yards, partner, the other way.
You know, Horton hears a who.
Oh, I read that book.
Yeah, I did too. What? Who, what? That ball's for me? Nice.
That was the Broncos' first interception of the season. And they take a 7-0 lead with the extra point. Looking to snap their 2-game home losing streak. Tyler Horton at work. Protecting the blue on the defensive end. We'll be back right after this. And welcome Welcome back, everyone, to Albertson Stadium. Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore, Quint Kessenich down on the field. And a moment ago, Tyler Horton, right there, number 14, with a pick, took it the other way for the touchdown. 85 yards, and boy, the Broncos off to a good start here. Their offense haven't even gotten on the field. The Cougars led the FBS in total offense the last 2 years in a row. Falk, another completion. Marks puts his hat down and takes it north-south out to the 40-yard line, and he runs right at Jonathan Moxey to pick up 4.
Well, I'm sure that Washington State has figured out by now that Marks is being doubled. So when you get yourself in this situation now and you got to pick up a first down, is he your decoy? Do you start looking away again?
And Marks comes out of the ball game. Falk hits his receiver. Great open field tackle on the play.
There's that
by
man.
Tanner Vallejo.
There's that man.
Wraps up Johnson. He does run well, Rob.
Oh, he is a rocket. When that ball is in the air, he just comes flying. Watch the left side of your screen, and the blur that's in blue, that's Vallejo. It's a good tackle.
You were talking last week about those hybrid defenders, Rod, that run well. A real essential key in college football now,
We're
right?
seeing more teams find guys like that who can stay on the field when you have substitutions.
A loss of 5. 3rd and long. Falk down the seam, incomplete. Intended for Gabe Marks. Broken up nicely by Raymond Ford. 4th down coming up, and they'll punt. Zach Sharmy coming in.
We're getting a rugby-style kick from Mr. Sweet here.
Such is the trend in college football now. With Australian punters. Butler on the punt return, brought down immediately at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 after the 41-yard punt. Get our first look at Brett Rypien at quarterback. Look at the Capitol here in Boise, Idaho on a beautiful night. Broncos out to a 7-0 lead, and we get our first look at Brett Rypien, sophomore quarterback. It was all Mountain West Conference last year. Completed 64% of his passes, 20 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. As Rod mentioned in the open, the nephew of former Super Bowl champion Mark Rypien. 1st and 10 from the 12 for the Broncos. McNichols between the tackles right up the middle, out of the 16.
You know, Rypien was offered at his uncle's alma mater, Washington State, and he said he had the choice of playing in his uncle's shadow or playing in the shadow of Kellen Moore here at Boise State. I guess he chose both because he's not getting rid of his uncle's shadow.
Yeah, those are both pretty good ones. 4-yard gain on 1st down. Rypien hands it off to McNichols again. This time he's going to lose a couple of yards. Pippins with a nice stop. Marcellus Pippins up off his corner spot. Back to Rypien. You know, you mentioned the lineage. His mom actually attended Wazoo as well.
His mom is going to get to see him throw it here on 3rd down. He has very good footwork. He gets rid of the ball very quickly. Very adept at the 3-step and that intermediate throw.
Well, Mark said he wanted his nephew to throw for 400 yards but lose the ball game. There's his first completion out to the 25 and enough for the 1st down to his reliable number 82, Spurbeck.
The thing that stands out most to me about Rypien is his ability to process information. He recognizes the defense very quickly, therefore it helps him get rid of the ball quicker. He knew right away when he got into his 2nd step that Spurbeck was the guy to go to on the right side.
Pays off in a 1st down out to the 26. Little jailbreak screen here to Chaz Anderson, comes back against the grain and picks up a nice block along the way out to the 40. Put it on the ground, but he was down first. A 14-yard gain. And another first down. 3-receiver formation. Nichols with the handoff down to the 34-yard line. Gains 4 on the play. Jeremy McNichols, the 5'9" junior out of Long Beach, California, raised a bit of eyebrows collectively here in Boise, Idaho, when he wasn't selected on the All Mountain West Conference team at the tailback spot.
Wow. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean,
1,700 yards last year.
51 catches.
Gets another touch here. And they're inside field goal range, and he picks up another first down. Well, in fairness to the guys that did make the all-conference team, Rod, Pumphrey and Hill out of Wyoming, pretty talented tailbacks.
But he's not a competitor if he doesn't believe he is the best running back in the Mountain West. And when you do what he did last season, he has every right to believe he is the best running back in the conference.
You played the sport. Guys get disrespected that easy?
Absolutely. Every day in practice you get dissed.
Sensitive. Gain of 6 on the play.
Ego is a thing, buddy. You wouldn't know.
True. Yeah.
No ego over there.
They say talent without ego isn't talent. Nichols has a bunch, and he's got another opportunity here to make something of it. Picks up 2. Pallure makes the stop on the play. This Washington State defense, Rod, gashed last week. Gave up over 600 yards, 606 against Eastern Washington. But they do have Shalom Luani back in the lineup.
You see them looking at the wristbands for plays that are called. They couldn't get that right last week. They couldn't play the same defense. Guys were reading the wrong things.
Under duress here, Rypien completes another one to Spurbeck down to the 14-yard line, and another first down for the Broncos. Thompson makes the stop, but a gain of 12.
You mentioned this Washington State defense. In particular, the secondary got carved up last week. In particular, the safety position. You know, those matchups were not good. Boise State is well aware of it. Expect them to attack the middle of the field, to attack the safeties. But you see that 18, Luani, is back after missing last week. That should help.
3 tight ends in here for the Broncos. McNichols inside the 10 down to the 8. Rod, why do we get so many formations out of the Broncos, and what does it do? What's the effect?
Well, they like to shift and move their tight ends. What they do is they'll have 2 or 3, and as they move and shift them, they give an extra gap to a side that you have to cover. They bring extra guys to run. They outnumber you. It becomes a problem.
Little wildcat formation here. McNichols takes the direct snap. Got a seam. Touchdown.
Still confusion on the Washington State side. I don't think they recognized that was a wildcat right away, and they didn't recognize that it was just a power run. You pull the left side guard, get him out in front.
Is
his knee down? Does he get across?
They might take another look at this. They will, and he might have been down before he crossed the goal line.
Yeah.
Here's the call.
After review, the runner's right knee was down prior to the ball breaking the plane of the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal at the half-yard line.
It's the right call.
Sure looked that way on the review. Caught the Cougars defense napping a little bit out of the wildcat formation.
What do you think? 4 tight ends down here? 3?
I've got a whole bunch of formations in that Brian Harsin playbook on this, the 12th play of the drive.
McNichols will be your guy again down here.
4 tight ends. McNichols gets the call and scores. Touchdown Broncos. As they take a 13-0 lead on Jeremy McNichols' 3rd rushing touchdown this season, and the 24th of his career. A 13-play, 88-yard drive. The Broncos looking good right now.
Power. Broncos kicking him right now.
Broncos off to a good start. They lead 14-0 here at Albertson Stadium. Sellout crowd of almost 40,000 on hand. Broncos trying to improve to 2-0, and the Cougars right now on the ropes, albeit early in this ball game. Martin on the return and stopped right at the 20-yard line. See if Luke Falk can get some points on the board in this drive. Down 14-0 and sacked for the first time in the ball game back at the 15-yard line by David Moa.
The undersized one.
Yes.
265 pounds. Gives up about 40 pounds to most linemen. Uses his quickness to just blow right by the guard there and get in there and make that sack. This is a critical drive for Washington State.
How so? How important?
You got no evidence your defense can stop them yet. They just gave up 88 yards, a punch in the mouth with 9 runs. You need to bring something to keep your team in the ball game here. Critical drive.
Empty formation, 5 receivers. Falk finds one at the 25. A nice catch on the play by Isaiah Johnson-Mack. Picks up 9.
Think about what's going on. Your defense is kind of on skates right now. Your offense hasn't gotten into a rhythm. Marks has only caught a couple of short passes just to get him a touch. He's not been a real factor yet. You have to find your rhythm, and you have to get Marks involved.
Just keep an eye on him in this play. 3rd and about 6 to go. Open over the middle of first down and then some out to the 40-yard line. It's Martin, their fastest receiver, in the middle of the field, and he moves the chains on the gain of 18.
Great protection for Falk that time.
Luke Falk took over from Connor Holiday midway through the 2014 season. It's been his job ever since. James Williams on the run got back to the line of scrimmage. With 29 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Washington State looking for their first win of the season, coming off a loss last week against Eastern Washington. No gain on the play. Another empty formation, 5 receivers out. Little jailbreak screen to Martin again. Makes a nice move and still alive. Down to the 39-yard line in a good way. A positive note to end the first quarter for the Cougars on that 19-yard pickup. Martin out of Belglade, Florida.
Quarter.
Things started off pretty well. And they lead by a couple of touchdowns. The pick 6 got him out of the gate quickly. Back after this. Look forward to seeing Randy Moss in the studio. A pass underneath. Speaking of good receivers, Gabe Marks makes the grab right near field goal range for the Cougars. I'll tell you what, I can't watch enough of that ESPN 30 for 30 they had on Randy Moss. Some of his collegiate exploits. 2nd down coming up. Underneath and wide open. Again, it's Robert Lewis, who had 4 catches last week for 67 yards. Gets 7 there, Ron.
Carter, you notice that Falk takes a long look down the field. They want to get deep, but Boise State really plays a very conservative defense. They try to take away deep throws, and Falk is having to check everything down.
So the school record for touchdown catches. Underneath, on cue, stopped up right around the line of scrimmage. Marks had 10 catches last week for 108 yards. No gain on that one.
Well, there's Gabe Marks, all-conference receiver.
Looks like he's limping a little bit coming off the field. Not a good sign.
Yeah, well, he was doing that last week in that Eastern Washington loss. He had more than 100 catches last season, 104 grabs to be exact.
Coaching staff will tell you he might be the hardest working player on the team, and his teammates follow his lead. Empty formation. Falk comes underneath, complete. Not much running room for Kyle Sweet. Picks up about 4 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And Boise State's fine with those little crossing routes and the dump passes to the backs. They want nothing over their heads, nothing behind them. They feel they can rally to the football and make tackles. And that guy, Vallejo, has made most of those tackles.
Drag route's a big part of this air raid offense, right?
Absolutely. And they've kept everything to 5 yards, dragging across, and then coming up and making the tackles. The plan has worked very well for Boise State so far.
Trips to the top of your screen. 3 receivers out to the left of Luke Falk. Has all day to decide and capitalizes down to the 17-yard line, but short of the first down. Picks up 4.
Take the points now. 4th and 3. I understood why he gambled. Can't gamble here at 4th and 8.
Now, Coach Leach, a guy that really embraces that frontier spirit. Bit of a gamble. Powell going to try this field goal from 39 yards out. Was 0 for 1 last week. Missed his only attempt. And this one is partially blocked. David Moa might have gotten a hand up, but somebody got a piece of it up front. One more look. Using those big hands to swat that opportunity.
My old pal, Steve Bushell, his son, Shane.
Picked off. Luani. Shalom Luani fumbles it. And it looked like he got it right back. Shalom Luani, who last week missed the ball game against Eastern Washington for unspecified team issues, back this week and making his presence felt.
Well, he's added some spark to this defense. He's sitting in the middle of your screen, gets locked up man-to-man. Watch him jump on coverage with Daynens right there, and he just jumps in front and grabs it. That's a heck of a play in man coverage, and the kind of break that Washington State needed. That defense, much maligned from last week, came out, and the first 2 drives did not play well. But since then, since Grinch, their defensive coordinator, talked to them, they've played much better.
See if the offense, Rod, can capitalize on the turnover by Rypien. 27-yard return after the pick. They're going to run it here. Morrow squares those shoulders and picks up about 3. Under about 3 minutes to go now in the first half. And boy, big surprise. Who would have thought that the Cougars offense wouldn't score any points so far?
Yeah, 45 last week. One of the top scoring offenses in the Pac-12 last season.
Falk eludes the rush and finds Craycraft over the middle. And River Craycraft sets up a 3rd and about 2 to go.
Falk was trying so hard to get that ball to Marks, but Marks was eaten up on the outside by Jonathan Moxey, number 2. There just was nothing there. I mean, Marks is getting so much attention. He's being doubled, short and long, or sometimes inside, outside. He's frustrated. I don't blame him. He wants to get the football, but there's no way to get it to him right now.
They're trying to make somebody else beat them. 3rd and 2. Got to think this is 4-down territory for him right now. Falk gets rid of it quickly, complete. And a first down to River Craycraft. Brought down inside the 15, picked up 4, and they moved the chains with 1:47 to go. The Cougars with all 3 timeouts remaining.
Now this is where you worry about the air raid offense. It's not a short red zone run the football offense. More than likely they'll have to throw it to get it in here. They don't use a tight end. They don't use a fullback.
3-by-1 receiver formation. Johnson, the lone receiver, to the bottom of the field, and they hand it off to Morrow. Tackled at about the 10-yard line. 2nd and 6 coming up.
Lee and Vallejo in on that tackle. Lee, remember, got the start because Joe Martinaro is hurt, normally the starter. And
Marks, meanwhile, Rod, back into the ball game. Split to the bottom of your screen. Falk looks his way, then comes back over the middle. Nobody open. And throws it out of bounds in the direction of Gabe Marks. And 3rd and 6 coming up now.
That's your air raid issue down here. You don't really have much of a run threat. So the defense realizes that it's got to play pass first, run second. And this Boise State defense is, very capable of handling a one-back set where you outnumber them with blockers. You can take the running game away. So now you're down here. You're just running 4 guys into a short area. Not a lot of room. I loved playing defense down here in the end zone because you didn't have to cover as much room. You could just be quick and react and really kind of bunch the receivers together.
So my partner saying advantage defense down here. Get a shovel pass complete to Morrow. Touchdown. I guess that's how you try and solve the puzzle.
There you go.
Got a nice block from Eduardo Middleton at right guard, and the Cougars finally on the board with less than a minute to go in the first half.
Points off of turnovers. That shovel pass saved the day, got Washington State, after almost the entire first half of getting nothing done. It's a one-possession game now.
Fifth touchdown pass of the season for Luke Falk. The extra point is good. And for Morrow, that's his first down catch of the year. 42 seconds to go. Little sleight of hand on that pass. Back after this. Shalom Luani set up that touchdown with his interception a few moments ago, and then Morrow with the touchdown catch, capping a 6-play, 26-yard drive, and the Cougars, with less than a minute to go, finally get on the board. Here's Cedric Wilson. Took the first hit, but makes it out to the 28-yard line. Rypien complete to the wide side of the field, and I guess, partner, that would qualify as getting quote-unquote something as Spurbeck makes the catch.
Well, you got something. You're out beyond the 45 now, and you have 3 timeouts, so now you've got a chance to play with it.
19-yard gain. Out to the 46. Little pressure coming on Rypien, taking a bit of a shot, and caught at the 18. Wow. Cedric, the entertainer, with the grab.
He is 6'3", maybe a little bit more, the tallest receiver Boise State has. His dad was a Super Bowl winning receiver with the Steelers, also played with the 49ers, and told him, you got to make plays if you want to be on the field.
He sure did, Rod.
That's a play.
A 39-yard gain and a timeout called by the Broncos. And folks, they're in business in 2 quick plays.
30-second timeout.
1st and 10 from the 14. Rypien with time. And incomplete, stopping the clock with 11 seconds to go. What do you think? 2 more plays? Just 1 more and then kick?
Probably. Got a couple timeouts. Yeah. Keep in mind, you have 3 points in your back pocket. So Rypien needs to be careful with the football. He has to know he's got 6 or he's throwing it away.
Wilson lined up to the bottom of your screen here again. Talked about his height, 6'3".
It's a good matchup for the Broncos.
Comes back the other way into the end zone. Caught, incomplete though. Spurbeck couldn't get his feet down. And 6 seconds to go. Let's take another look. This was close.
Yeah, he grabs it, but does he get a foot down? No. How about that back judge? That back judge right there on the money, watching that right foot. Saw it on the white.
Yeah, he was eyeballing that.
Heck of a throw, heck of a catch. Just ran out of room.
6 seconds to go. 3rd and 10.
How confident are you? How confident are you?
Takes it through.
No problem.
As Tyler Rosser would tell his coach, hey, coach, I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. 17-7 at the break. Boise State trying to go 2-0 in the season. Right now we head to the studio, Chris and the gang, for our BMW halftime report. Guys, Boise State leading Washington State. Matchup between the Mountain West and the Pac-12. And Boise State leading by 10. Brian Harsin, the head coach, Rod Gilmore, said when we visited with him yesterday, there's a great chance for our team to get a big win against a power conference team. And so far, they've been up to the challenge, especially on offense.
Yeah, I think defensively this has been an outstanding game, but not what we expected. We thought we'd see a lot more scoring by now, and Boise State scoring is really kind of surprisingly been a little bit of defense and a little bit of offense. I mean, Tyler Horton gets a pick 6, and then Jerry McNichol takes in a run, so that's the 14 points. And we really have only had 2 offensive touchdowns in this ball game in the first half. A bit of a surprise so far.
Yeah, one of the storylines coming into the ball game on the other side of the field was the Cougar defense was just eviscerated last week, losing to Eastern Washington, giving up over 600 yards. What do you make of the way they've played? We're going to see them on the field here early in the second half.
They were shaky when the game started, but I think they settled down pretty quickly after that second drive, after the defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, talked to them on the sideline. We saw that they had been making mistakes, not communicating, looking at their wristbands with confusion. All that seemed to disappear after that second drive. They've played lights out. They got a big play from Shalom Luani with the pick, so they're in a good spot right now.
This one going to come out to the 25-yard line, and Q spoke with Mike Leach at halftime.
Yeah, I walked from the locker room to the sideline with Coach Leach and talked about things other than Cuba or Spanish colonial architecture. He was kind of bemoaning the fact, he says, yeah, I kind of wish they'd be playing more man-to-man defense. So they've been sitting back in the zone. The one thing that stood out to me, though, he said Luke Falk has to especially be more decisive in the second half. I don't think he was particularly happy with the way his quarterback played.
Yeah, Q, I think he'd like on those underneath throws for Falk just to get rid of it and let the guy have a chance to make a move.
1st and 10. Brett Rypien in at quarterback still. He's taken every snap so far except for one wildcat play. Which went to this guy, McNichols, who's brought down for a loss of about 2 on the play by Shalom Luani, who we mentioned a moment ago. Rod, we talked about Alex Grinch, the D coordinator for the Cougars, coming down to the field. You played on defense. How much difference does it make as a defender when you actually see him down in the field?
Well, I think the younger you are, the less you've played, the more that's helpful for you. You know, your juniors and seniors who've played, they don't care if the coordinator's up or down. You can be fine with that.
2nd and 12. Rypien got one-on-one coverage. Wilson flagged down and taken away by Moulton. And an interception if it stands. There's a flag on the play.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Unless
you impede the receiver's ability to make a catch. Now, you don't look around for the ball. It looks like you trapped one of the arms of the receiver. Look at that. There's the left hand holding down a little bit the right hand. That's probably what the official saw. But you know, if you can turn your head when you're making that play, you can probably get away with trapping that arm down.
Rod, I know you're a former DB, but he was holding Wilson like a grudge.
You can hold if you hold down low and you don't restrict where they can see it. Trust me.
He was holding him like a grudge on that one.
You can find a way.
Will Adams comes in and lines up at tight end out of the backfield. McNichols, an improved receiver, took a big hit at the 42-yard line. Gets right back up. McNichols last year had 26 rushing touchdowns. That was 2nd best in FBS. 5-yard gain on the play. 2nd down coming up. Spurbeck, top receiver from a year ago, split to the bottom of your screen. McNichols gets around the edge. Got a good block on the edge from Chaz Wilson, number 6. and picks up another Bronco first down worth 11 yards. Well, this is what it looks like when a couple of roommates, Rod, are on the same page, right?
Yeah, you know, you get a couple tight ends in, you get an extra gap, and then when you have a linebacker go inside, you bounce it to the outside. Worked pretty well.
Play action, Rypien. Taking a shot, trying to pop the top. Touchdown, Spurbeck. A 47-yard touchdown pass to Thomas Spurbeck.
All that running, look in the middle of your screen. You see 18 Luani. He bites a little bit on that play action, and he's late getting back to the middle, which is exactly where Spurbeck is. Spurbeck runs that post from the left side of the field. The play action created that entire situation.
Second touchdown catch of the season, 13th of his career. He's got some wheels, folks. Don't sleep. Spurbeck with an education and acceleration right here, Rod.
Yeah, splits the safeties. Not any help. Too late. Spurbeck, top receiver, puts Boise State up. 24-17.
Downtown Boise, Idaho, and the mascot Bronco doing a lot of push-ups. 24 points on the board now against 7 for the Cougars. Find themselves trailing by 17, looking for their first win of the season, and Rypien with a dime drop a moment ago to Spurbeck for the touchdown. Another receiver screen complete, this time to Johnson Mack. Pulled down about 2 yards short of the first down run.
So Jonesy, Q told us at halftime that Mike Leach said, hey, you know, more decisive out of the quarterback. So their answer has been the quick screen, the bubble screen, and those things to get the ball out right now, to give the receivers a chance to make a move and make a guy miss, because Falk was holding it a bit too long in the first half.
Third and short. They run it. Morrow's got the first down and then some. Tripped up at about the 43-yard line, a 9-yard pickup.
If Weaver doesn't make that tackle, you might have had Morrow go for a bit. That was a shoestring tackle.
Boise State with Andy Avalos, their defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, speaking of quarterbacks, Falk is 13 of 15 here in the third quarter, but no points to show for it. Let's go down to Quinn.
During that last change of possession, Mike Leach went back to the Washington State bench and brought the entire offense over, and basically didn't lose his temper, but he basically held everyone accountable. And he pointed to the line, fourth down. You know, you can't punch him in the mouth. He's been over Falk for his indecisiveness, some of the receiving issues, basically putting it on each and every member of this offense.
Falk, Quinn taking a shot here and makes a play. Stopped up at the 1-yard line to Martin. Well, his coach will be happy about that, Quinn.
Well, I think talk about being accountable, as Q just mentioned. Martin basically said, I'm accountable, throw it up to me, and he just goes and makes a play. He just puts himself in position to out-jump Tyler Horton for the ball.
Should that be a touchdown, Rod? It looked like he was never down. He landed on top of the defender, Tyler Horton.
Yeah, if he's on top of him, he should be into the end zone.
The receiver was on top of a player at the 1-yard line, rolled into the end zone, was never down by rule. Touchdown.
Well, there you go. Tavares Martin credited with the touchdown. They overturned the call on the field, Rod.
So let me ask you this. Again, I agree, touchdown. But if you're coaching the defensive backs and you see Motley coming in, Moxie coming in there, what do you tell him to do? You can't touch the guy.
Right.
If you got to make a tackle.
Right. Yeah, if you hit him, you're
flat.
And then, yeah.
That was James coming in late. I'm sorry, not Moxie.
Extra point good, and 10-point ball game. After being stopped on 4th down on the previous drive, this was the key play. Falk to Martin, and sometimes when you're down, you're not really down. Coach knew it. Well, we got a ball game, 10-point advantage for the Broncos with less than a minute to go. Boise State has lost its last 2 home games at the end of last year. The battle cry coming into this one was protect the blue. Celebrating 30 years of the blue turf here at Albertson Stadium. 1st and 10. Blakely in motion. Rypien going to roll out. Hit his roommate McNichols, who got a great block, a clean block, and gets into Washington State territory, at least close to it. 18-yard pickup.
That block you were talking about was right here as Spurbeck came back. If the would-be defender turns his back or so, it's not a block in the back.
They're going to spot it back at the 43, but still a 1st down. Rypien completes it to Spurbeck at the 44-yard line, brought down by Charleston White.
He says he does fingertip push-ups,
Okay.
Spurbeck. That's why his hands are so good. They're so strong. He has no trouble catching the football. Those fingertip push-ups for years. He says he doesn't have the biggest hands, but they're really, really strong.
Hung on to that one. Under 10 seconds to go. We'll get one more play off. Rypien. Wilson caught. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. With a second to go in the 3rd. Cedric Wilson for 36 yards.
Well, they have the power game, and then they spread you out and they can throw it. Wilson last week had 6 catches for 103 yards and a touchdown in the 1st quarter.
That in front of 30 family members that made the trip to Lafayette, Louisiana to watch Cedric the Entertainer do his thing. They're up 10 as we play the final 15 after this. And welcome back, everyone, under the lights at Albertson Stadium to ESPN College Football Finale, presented by Geico. The Pac-12 and the Mountain West Conference after dark. In a game we projected to be a little bit more higher scoring than it actually has turned out to be so far. 38 points on the board with 15 minutes to go. And Brett Rypien in at quarterback still, the 6'2 sophomore, leading his team to a 1st and goal here. After that big catch by Cedric Wilson. From the 7. Got an extra tight end in McNichols, tiptoeing into the end zone. Touchdown, Boise. Second touchdown tonight for Jeremy McNichols.
Yeah, take a look at the way they're able to run this inside. They're trying to get something going, but Pallure is the linebacker who can't get inside, gets caught up in the traffic.
Extra point good to lead up to 17 now as we just get started in the 4th quarter. I know those fans there that you just saw saying thank you very much. This will come out to the 25-yard line for the Cougars. Luke Falk had a good 3rd quarter, 14 of 16, 127 yards.
Listen, I know you're all about, Houston.
Okay.
And your quarterback there.
I know where you're going, Greg Ward. Yeah, group of 5.
You're all about it. But there's a long way to go. And Houston may not make it to the college football playoff, which means the group of 5 guys will be fighting for a spot in a New Year's 6 bowl game. These 4 teams are kind of all in the mix. Now, Boise State and San Diego State will at some point likely knock each other off. One will win. But we're far, far away from conceding that the Group of 5 rep on New Year's Day will be from Houston.
Well, let me check my calendar. It is September 11th now. That pass complete to number 15, Robert Lewis, out at the 40-yard line. He's going to come out of the ball game after the 16-yard gain. Yeah, long, winding, compelling, intriguing road to be played out in college football with the end in Tampa, Florida.
How about San Diego State up on Cal 38-21 in the third quarter? Don't sleep on the Aztecs.
Pumphrey, one of the more talented running backs in the Mountain West Conference. We saw him in the conference championship game last year. This is James Williams, the freshman, stopped at about the 42-yard line, picked up a yard on the play.
We still have more than 14 minutes in this game. I think Washington State hurt itself by not taking points earlier, and that makes this an uphill climb. If Washington State loses this game, what then?
They're done?
Well, they haven't played a conference game, but I think from a psychological standpoint, that's a tough start.
Losing to Eastern Washington and then against Boise. Put you in a bad state of mind. Wicks making the catch. Vallejo, boy, can't say enough about number 20 right there getting off the blue turf. He has been ubiquitous tonight. I mean, everywhere. Tanner Vallejo. These guys really popped heads.
Friendly fire.
Yeah. 3rd and 1. Jamal Morrow in at tailback. Boise State has never beaten Washington State in 4 tries. That's going to be a first down on the pass to Johnson Mack.
You talk about an 0-2 start if they lose this game. I think the only thing you can sell your team on is, hey, we haven't lost a conference game. We still have a chance to do something. And a lot of people came into the season thinking that Washington State might be the rep out of the North.
Wow.
But they've got Oregon and Stanford back-to-back. You know, that's tough sledding.
Falk going up top. A flag thrown. Pass incomplete, intended for Johnson Mack. Well defended by Hartsfield, but there was a little bit of contact down that sideline. Craycraft and Hartsfield were going at it.
Yeah, a little hand holding.
Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah, Chancellor James.
Yeah,
the culprit.
Chancellor James coming over, but you also had one of, Ford had the hand of the receiver going down the sideline, which is what you were pointing out initially. I think they had the wrong guy. I think it was Ford grabbing on the sideline, as you pointed out. I don't think James had his hand on anybody.
Falk gets it out quick to Martin. And Martin with another first down right around the 19-yard line.
Let's go back to the pass interference. Now you see it up at the top. There's 5 Johnson being held by 4 25. All James is doing is running over and it gets his name called.
Wow. Wrong place at the wrong time. An 11-yard gain and another first down. Falk with all day finds Craycraft. His forward progress is going to be marked right around the 15. It'll be a 4-yard gain. Craycraft coming out.
Get a 4. Second down.
Morrow the tailback. Play clock down to 7. Into the end zone and well defended. That pass wasn't catchable. Raymond Ford back there at corner working against Martin. And this is where, Rod, you pointed out, this type of offense struggles sometimes in the red zone.
Well, you don't have the big tight end. You don't have a fullback or 2-back set where you can run things, draw plays, screen plays. Remember, they scored earlier with a shovel pass. Everything's got to be in the air. So to me, that's the play to go back to. They haven't run it again since.
3rd and 6. Falk overshoots Marks, and I mean really fired high.
There's just not a lot of room when you get inside the 15-yard line. And if you have corners and safeties who are good at change of direction, you can defend the ball pretty decently down there, particularly if you're playing zone coverage.
Well, what do you make of the performance of this Boise State defense?
I think Andy Avalos, the first-year defensive coordinator, ought to be really happy with the way his guys have played. Certainly Tanner Vallejo has set the tone for that defense.
On 4th down, Falk trying to buy a little more time, finds his man, touchdown Morrow. And Falk had his helmet come off. He might have taken a big lick, and he's disgusted right now.
Yeah, he's grabbed his head. I think he did take a shot. He extended this play. This is all Falk. This is not what he normally does. He is not a guy who throws on the run, who scrambles. But look, he's trying to make a play on 4th down. He does. Not a big shot. He just got fell on by a defensive lineman.
He was on the way down.
Yeah. That's Frazier who jumped on him.
Big time play by Luke Falk. And the Cougars hanging around, down by just 10. Plenty of time to go.
Oh, cool hand Luke there. 4th and 6, buying some time. Doesn't have to be the quickest guy. Presence. He's giving his team a chance. They are back in this ball game.
Welcome back, everyone. College football finale presented by Geico. And boy, what a great second half for Luke Falk. 20 of 24 passing, a couple of touchdowns, almost 200 yards, and keeping his team in the game with that pivotal 4th down conversion.
Well,
and a touchdown.
Q said he had to be more decisive. Mike Leach wanted him more decisive. He got that out of him. He also got him to extend a play to throw that touchdown pass to bring them within 10. You see the numbers Jonesy just mentioned, a couple of TDs, and 20 of 24. Nice.
From the goal line, this is McNichols. He stopped up, shy of the 28, the 17-yard line. Pass complete to Chaz Anderson. And Anderson picks up about 6 on the play. Pallure with yet another tackle for Washington State. Picked up 4 on the play. 2nd down and 6. Clock running. 10-point lead for the Broncos.
Huge series right now for Washington State defensively. If you get 3 and out, you're going to get the ball back in good field position, down 10.
Little bubble screen. Sperbeck gets the first down out beyond the 30 to the 31. That's his comfort zone right there. Let's go down to Q.
For whatever reason, guys, it seems like both defenses in this game have become short-circuited. Signs of fatigue, late on the scene, poor pursuit angles, and just overall sloppiness in the last 2 or 3 drives. I don't know if we've hit the magic pitch count or something, but the total plays seem to be adding up for both defenses.
Yeah.
1st and 10. Anderson makes the catch. A good open field stop by Darian Moulton.
Q, I would add this. When you're playing pass defense, that many plays, it tends to wear you out. Your guys up front are rushing the quarterback, and all these throws to the sideline, you're running sideline to sideline. That wears out a defense.
5:11 to go. McNichols brought down for a loss at about the 41 by Dylan Hansen. And is Boise State built to run clock, Ron?
They can, and they probably should, but they're still going with a bit of tempo here, right on the line of scrimmage. You got a 2-possession lead with less than 5 minutes. You can burn clock from the line of scrimmage. It doesn't look like they're doing that, though.
Loss of 5 on that play. 2nd and 15. Rypien taking a shot downfield. Intended for Chaz Anderson, incomplete. Who's working against Marcellus Pippins.
Yeah, I think you ought to be a little bit more deliberate starting with that first down play. And then second down. You don't have to get right to the line of scrimmage and run that play. You're just leaving clock for Washington State. They need at least 2 possessions. You've got a chance to burn some clock, and they really haven't burned very much here.
Broncos just 2 of 7 on third downs tonight. 3 of 7, pardon me. Passing is Rypien. And picked off for the second time tonight. Luani with the pinch, and the Cougars back in it.
Well, the Cougars' top defensive player baited Rypien into that. He leaned to the left like he was moving that way, knew he had a receiver coming back from the right, and then he just jumped right back in front of it. And he sort of baited him with a very nice move. You'll see him. Watch for 18 in the middle of your screen. There he is, leaning to the left a little bit, plants his foot and comes back to the right. Read his eyes all the way. That's a huge swing.
Wow, they really missed him last week against Eastern Washington. Unable to play because of an unspecified team violation. Falk going to take a shot immediately into the end zone. Marks, touchdown, and here comes Washington State. In 2 plays, this complexion has changed, Rod.
Yeah. Well, I think it started with that series by Boise State.
By the defense,
really not managing the clock.
Established himself back inbounds and made the catch for a touchdown.
But Marks is one of the best receivers in the country. Can't hold him down the entire game. Now he's out of bounds, comes back in. He can do that.
Yeah, the official just saying moments ago that he established himself back in bounds. Gabe Marks, after being non-impactful in the first 3.5 quarters, with 4:17 to go, his first impactful catch tonight, and that's the guy that set it up.
Wow, how much did they miss Luani? This play, his second pick of the night, setting things up for the Cougs. They're still alive because this man has shown up. For 3 quarters, they couldn't find him. They found Marks late in the 4th. He got a 3-point ball game. Pac-12 out.
And welcome back. 4:17 to go. Boise State has led for most of the night, the entire game, but now a perilously close game, leading by just 3. Gabe Marks with that touchdown catch a moment ago, and what seemed to be a rather secure win, just 5 minutes away, leading by 10. Now it's a 3-point game. Look at those numbers put up by Luke Falk. Last week it was 41 of 51. And another 400-yard game for him.
I'm just more impressed with the way he bounced back from the first half. He's 26 of 30 in the second half.
This will come out to the 25-yard line. And now the question begs, what of the psyche, what is left of the psyche of Brett Rypien? Quint?
Yeah, and Brian Harsin actually told us that yesterday. How will we react? How will he react when we face adversity? They faced none last week. Well, they're staring it down right now with the sophomore quarterback, who many have anointed the best quarterback in the Mountain West. If I'm Boise State, though, I turn to this offensive line. Majority of seniors. I think you got 1 junior on that group. They're going to win you this game right now, those senior offensive linemen.
Yeah, I would too, Q, but he's still going to need at least a throw or 2 from Rypien.
He threw a pick the last time he passed. 1st and 10. Hands it off to McNichols. Cougars going after that ball. McNichols hangs onto it, picks up about 4.
You know, Rypien said a few weeks ago that this Washington State game, he had a nightmare over the summer about it. He woke up kind of in a sweat with the notion that he was playing the game and he wasn't prepared. And he says, but he's had dreams like that before, so he didn't think it was all that unusual. But remember, his mom and his uncle went to Washington State. He turned down Washington State and just threw a pick in this ball game.
Nichols stays on his feet. Great hand walk. Used his hand to stay upright and picks up the first down with 3:32 to go. Gets 10.
Well, Q absolutely on the money, getting behind their left guard Averill, their center Hampton, letting the redshirt seniors and redshirt junior lead the way, trusting them a bit more here than the right arm of the sophomore quarterback.
Clock running, 3:17 to go.
This is a drive that they should have had last drive.
Both teams with a full complement of 3 timeouts remaining. McNichols with a little sidestep. Brought down to the 40, picked up 1. Pallure making the tackle.
Now, if you're a Washington State fan, you have no reason to panic. You've got 3 timeouts. You just need a stop. And you know you've got to play run defense.
What kind of grade would you give the defense tonight?
Oh,
They got gashed for 606 last week.
Yes, after what they did last week, they picked up a couple turnovers. They get a high grade. Maybe not an A, but maybe a B+. Maybe an A for the second half.
Luani has made all the difference. Number 18 in the secondary. This is Madison with a rare carry for him. 3rd down coming up. Timeout called. 3rd and 6 to keep the drive alive. Big catch by Wilson and a first down. He went to his long rangy receiver on the sidelines and found his mark to gain 13.
Well, they have a lot more trust in Wilson now. I mean, he's generally regarded as a deep threat, but he became clutch right there with just a first down catch.
Let's look at his numbers tonight. 3 catches for 85 yards. Had a touchdown last week. The clock running with under 2 minutes to go now. McNichols stays on his feet. Thinking about 6 and stays in bounds. And that is a dispiriting, disheartening run for that Cougar defense.
This is the offensive line. Not a fancy play. It's just a power run. Block down, pull the backside guard, kick out. They had an extra tight end. They had an extra tackle that they lined up on the left side as a tight end. They go number 74, Archie Lewis at 6'3", 300. Lined up as a extra tight end over there.
1:22 to go, a 26-yard gain. Washington State with 2 timeouts remaining. Nichols, boy, he got rocked and kept those feet moving wide. And a late flag thrown.
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul, offense, number 86. 15-yard penalty, down 2.
Right there, Chase Blakely.
Yeah, that's one of those extra tight ends. Blakely, unnecessary roughness call.
1:08 to go.
Sitting on 2 timeouts, Washington State.
1:07 to go. McNichols hanging on to that ball. And brought down after the gain of 4. Washington State still with a couple of timeouts remaining. And take one here.
Second charge timeout, Washington State.
Now down to 1.
30-second timeout.
1:02 to go. On this drive, they've run it 7 times.
I'm not sure.
Just 1 pass.
You know, Jonesy, I'm not sure I would try a field goal.
If you don't get the first here?
Yeah, I'd be worried about that ball not getting up and having a block. I mean, that'd be about from here. You're talking about a 50-yarder, close to it.
They went to Wilson last time on a critical 3rd down. 3rd and 17. Spurbeck in the slot to the top of your screen. They take a shot into the end zone and picked off. by Charleston White.
Wow.
An egregious turnover by Rypien with just under a minute to go. It'll come back out and be 1st and 10 Cougars.
That's a mistake by Rypien, because that ball has to be in one spot and one spot only. Your guy catches it or it goes out of bounds. You have an opportunity to burn more clock. You cannot leave this ball in play. And a tremendous effort for White to come over and make this play and take the ball away. But that ball has to be thrown where only one guy can get it. It's got to be away from the safety, has to be more towards the corner. It's a heck of a catch.
Yeah, great play there by number 4, Charleston White.
And Washington State didn't even have to burn a timeout.
Yeah, they still got one left.
Worst possible scenario for the Broncos. Best scenario for the Cougars.
Broncos' last 2 possessions have been poor. Underneath, Morrow steps out of bounds after gaining 8. 2nd and 2, 46 seconds to go. Eric Powell, remember, is 0 of 1 on the year on his field goal attempts. You've got to get in field goal range at least to get a tie. Falk completes it to Marks. Got a touchdown the last time he got a touch. And picks up the 1st down. One more look.
Yeah, let's go back to this. Now, White wasn't on the field. Look at him running on. They were short of safety. He doesn't even know the coverage. He just runs out there and makes a play.
Could that have worked in his benefit? I think maybe Rypien didn't see him.
Possibly, yes.
Morrow with the catch. Vallejo with another tackle. No gain on the play.
And they may have to burn a timeout here. I don't know if they want to clock this, but they're losing precious time.
Yeah, they sure are. They're going to try and run a play here instead of just spike it. And Falk throws it out of bounds in the direction of Marks.
That was a waste of 10 to 11 seconds. You know, you have to extend the game. You have a timeout. I know you want to save it, but you can't afford to let the time run out and not use your timeouts. You've burned 11 seconds there and got no yardage out of it.
Trying to get in field goal range for Eric Powell.
You need a play down the field. You got to get about 15 or so yards here.
His career long is only 47. Falk completed the 49 to Marks. Look at the 45. And they're going to have to burn one here with 8:7:6 to go. Clock still running.
I am stunned by the clock management here. Are you kidding me?
How do you not stop it?
Well, the last 30 seconds of clock management has just been miserable.
Washington State.
Now you have to take a shot.
Please reset the game clock to 5
Well,
seconds.
the official...
Oh, they're putting one more second back on, which is not a major difference.
But the official signaled right away that they were short. He put his fist up for the 4th down sign, which is when they should have called the timeout, which would at least have given them 9 or 10 seconds. And with that timeout, you have a shot at 2 plays. But instead, they've got 1 play. They've got only the option of throwing the Hail Mary.
Boy, that was a poor case of not calling a timeout quickly enough. Marks stopped up. Now it's close.
Yeah. Well, when he initially caught it, he had the opportunity to get across the marker, but he was thinking of getting more yardage or getting to the sideline. Right there, just get the 1st down.
Yeah. Well, Cougars probably thought they had enough for it.
Yeah, he's short there. You see the ball short.
Fourth and 1. Falk throws it up. Lots of traffic and batted down. It's over. The Broncos win and defend the blue. Ford broke it up. And it's a 31-28 final for the Broncos. They earned their first win in 5 tries against Washington State. respective brain trust at midfield. Broncos now 2-0, one last look.
And not enough arm strength to get this way down the field. Played perfectly by Boise State. Knock it down. That's the idea. Don't catch it, knock it down.
Raymond Ford taking no chances. Senior out of Los Angeles, putting an exclamation point on the night. So the Mountain West knocks out the Pac-12 here in Boise, Idaho by a verdict of 31-28. Coming up next, it's college football final for Rod Gilmore and Quint Kesnick and our entire talented gang behind the camera you never get a chance to see. I'm Mark Jones. Right now, we're going to send it to college football final. See ya.